everybody. Here we are, all ready to take you down to Pine Ridge for another visit with Lum and Abner, brought to you by the makers of Horlicks, the original malted milk. First, however, let me remind you of something. Today is the first official day of spring, but don't let that calendar fool you. There's still lots of changeable weather left yet. Now, changeable weather is a common cause of colds and coughs, especially at this time of year when our resistance has been lowered by the long winter months. Well, to help ward off these spring colds, you need the good nourishment of Horlicks malted milk. Horlicks helps build up your resistance, strengthens and nourishes you. That's because it's such a wonderful source of vitamins and bodybuilding elements. For the next few weeks, you can't do anything better for that family of yours than to let them drink plenty of Horlicks malted milk. They'll love it, too. It's so delicious and invigorating. So start right away. Get a package tonight from your druggist in either natural or chocolate flavor. Keep a package on hand in your home, ready for every emergency. And now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. Well, Squire Skimp is having his troubles trying to get Lum and Abner's Circus all ready for the grand opening next Saturday. In order to cut down expenses, he's been trying to persuade Lum to take over the job of putting the elephants through their tricks. And he has Abner picked out to train the lions and the tigers. As we look in on Pine Ridge today, we find Squire over in the tent that's to be used for the sideshow, just off the big top. Lum is just entering. Listen.
Well, come in, Lum, come in.
Howdy, Squire.
Well, I've been hoping that you'd come over, Lum. I wanted to talk to you, find out what you decide to do about that job of taking charge of the elephants.
Well, I don't hardly know, Squire. I've been sort of turning it over my head ever since yesterday evening.
Mm-hmm.
That part about being called king and sitting up there on top of that elephant in the parade with a big crown on my head and having them slaves fan me sounds awful good.
Oh, yes, Lum, it's a great honor to hold that job, you know. Why, you'd be about the most looked up to man in the circus.
But on the other hand, that trick they do there, where one of them picks me up in his trunk and waves me around over his head 3 or 4 times and then lays me down on the ground, and then he lays down on top of me, that don't sound so good.
Oh, well, now, that ain't nothing, Lum. Why, I wouldn't worry about that a minute.
Well, natural, you wouldn't worry about it. As long as it's me the elephant's laying down on.
Well, what I mean, old Lum, there ain't no cause for you to worry, neither. Why, them elephants is trained, Lum. They don't hurt you none when they lay down on you that way.
Now, listen, Squire, any time something as big as an elephant lays down on you, it's going to hurt, whether he's trained or not.
Yes, but now, Lum, they don't let all their weight down on you, you know. It looks like it to the folks that's watching the show, but they're trained, you know, to leave enough room underneath there to where it don't mash you none.
Yeah, I know they're supposed to, but they're awful sleepy-looking critters. Be about my luck to get out there someday when they're tired, and about the time I got down under him there, he'd decide to just stretch out and take a little nap.
Well, of course, Lum, if you're afraid to do it, why, there ain't no use for me to try to talk you into it.
No, I don't believe there is either.
But you ought to make up your mind, 'cause now if you ain't going to work the elephants, why, you better be practicing on a high trapeze act. I want to have this circus all ready to open for Saturday, you know.
You mean if I don't take charge of the elephants, you still want me to work on that high trapeze, huh?
Well, it looks like you'll have to, Lum. That's about the only job left, and I want you to have some part in the circus.
How would it be if we just left out that trick about the elephant laying down on me? I believe I could talk myself into doing the rest of them things.
Oh, no, now, Lum, we couldn't think about it. No, why, that'll be one of the best things in the show. And a circus wouldn't be a circus, you know, unless they had the elephant lay down on somebody.
And they just got to do that.
Oh, yes.
I reckon who it was that ever got such ideas in their head to start with.
Well, I don't know. They've been doing it ever since the first circus I ever saw. That's always one of their main tricks, you know.
Don't reckon we could dig a sort of a little trench in the ground so I could lay down in that while the elephant's laying down on me.
Well, I'm afraid, old Lum, the audience could tell that you wasn't taking no chance that way. You see, if there ain't no danger there, why, the audience wouldn't be interested at all.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Reckon what it is about folks that wants to see somebody risk their lives that way. Looks like they ain't satisfied to have somebody dressed up like a king riding the elephant around. They've got to have the elephant laying down on top of it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like that trapeze. I wouldn't mind cutting up all sorts of cadados if they'd let me have the trapeze down close to the ground, but they ain't satisfied with that. They want me to go clean up there in the top of the tent to do it. So if I fall out, I'll break my neck, I reckon.
Well, Lum, that's the thrill they get out of coming to the circus, is watching such stuff as that.
I can sort of understand how they'd enjoy seeing some folks take them chances. Somebody they got a grudge against. Somebody they'd love to see get hurt anyway. But just an out-and-out stranger to sit up there and hope he falls and hurts himself, I just can't understand it.
Oh, well, that's the circus business for you, Lum. That's the circus business.
Yeah, me and Abner ought to stayed in the store business.
Well, it's too late now, Lum. I've already invested $50 for you this morning.
$50?
Yeah.
Squire, you ain't bought no more animals for us to feed, have you?
No, Lum, but I bought something else here. It's just as important to a circus as the animals are. Come over here. I want to show it to you.
Oh, yeah, I seen that thing sitting there when I come in a while ago. Now, I wondered what that was.
Well, we just had to have one of these for the parade, Lum.
Well, what is it?
Well, it's what you'd call a steam calliope, but it ain't run by steam like most of them. All you've got to do to listen is just turn this crank here, sort of like a grind organ.
Well, I do.
Here, wait a minute. I'll show you how it works.
Yeah.
See, just turn the crank here on the side.
Well, hey, Granny, that's all right,
Oh, yeah.
Sure sounds like a circus, all right.
Oh, yes. Well, it just ain't a circus without one of them. Yeah, Lord. Steady, Lum, standing here listening to that thing. It brings back old memories to me to hear one of them play. Sure does. Ain't that pretty?
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
I do love them. I sure do.
Yeah, I'd love to have the job of turning the crank on that thing. Now, there's something I don't believe there's any danger in.
Oh, no, well, the only thing, Lum, I promised Abner that he could look after the playing of the calliope this morning.
Abner?
Yeah.
Well, for goodness sake, you might have known he'd get all the easy jobs. Things ain't no danger to.
Well, now, I wouldn't say that now, Lum. Now, he's got one job, it ain't going to be so easy, being the line trainer.
I can't hear you, Squire. It may well...
Yeah, wait a minute. I'll turn this thing off here. Yeah, I'll quit there. Well, I'd love to play that a little more. I could listen to him all day.
You say Abner's going to be the line trainer?
Yes. He's going to train the line, Lum. Go right in there and then do the line.
I don't believe you'll ever talk him into doing that, Squire. I can tell you that right now. I just don't believe he can. I could tell that just the evening when I was trying to talk him into it myself.
Why, that's all settled, Lum. He come down here this morning and told me that he decided to take charge of them.
You mean that Abner's going right in the cage with them lions and tigers?
That's what he said. Him and Cedric's been back there all morning. I guess that Abner is staying around them all he can, so as to get them used to him.
Granny, let's go back there, Squire. I'd sort of love to talk to Abner a little before he goes in the cage with them animals. I'm feared I might have had some bearing on him making up his mind to do it. Might have egged him into it.
Well, yes, I suppose that you helped talk him into it all right, Lum, but he seemed very well pleased with the idea this morning.
Don't know where he ought to do that or not, Squire. That's awful dangerous business.
Well, now, Lum, don't you come back here and try to talk him out of it, just that I've got it all settled now.
Yeah, but I don't want to see Abner get hurt neither. Whereabouts is he?
There he is, back there. Him and Cedric, back there at the tent.
Well, I'm glad he's on the outside of the cage.
Well, howdy, man. Come on back. I've got these lions here just as tame as house cats.
I wouldn't get too close to that cage there, Abner.
Too close to it? I'm going to get in it.
No, you ain't neither. No, sir. You stay out of there.
Oh, there ain't nothing to this training lions, Lum, after a feller catch it on the house bed.
Well, now, Abner, you better think twice before you go in there. Recollect, you've got a family dependence on you. There's Elizabeth and Pearl. You got to think about them.
Oh, well, I ain't going to get hurt.
No, Mr. Abner ain't going to get hurt. Don't you worry about that. We got that all fixed.
Well, Abner, I'm glad to see you with so much confidence. You seem to have more confidence than most fellas I know that's been training cats for years. And that's what it takes, too. Don't ever let them think that you're afraid of them.
Granny, this scares me to stand around here hearing them hollering that way.
No, I ain't a bit scared of them.
It's all right, Mr. Abner, if you're ready to go in there now.
Oh, Well, I believe I'll just step inside here and see what old Nero thinks of me.
Well, he don't think very much of you. I can tell you that the way he's looking there. He's just watching you like a hawk.
Yeah, I believe he's throwing his feet back on him there, Abner, like he might spring.
Yeah, come back out of there, Abner, before you get yourself hurt.
I don't get I'm right in here with him, ain't I?
Abner, you idiot, get out of there.
Now, let him go now, Lum. We've got to have somebody to put these lions and tigers through their tricks, you know.
Abner, if you don't get out of there now, I'm coming in there. Get out of there now. That lion's liable to jump right on you and tear you to pieces any
No,
minute.
he ain't. No, he can't get to me, Lum.
Well, I don't know what's to keep him from it. All he's got to do is just jump on you there.
Well, you see, Mr. Lum, we've got a plate glass partition in there betwixt him and the lion.
Oh, Cedric, what did you tell him for?
Got a glass what?
Yeah, come here and I'll show you, Lum.
You see there, that glass partition goes clean across there. Body can't see it unless it gets right up here close to the cage and looks good.
I don't get ain't that a slick son?
Well, for the great I am.
Well, Abner, that's one of the neatest tricks that I ever saw in the circus, baby.
Well, that ain't the business. Now, if I could figure out something like that on that elephant deal, I granted we'd have this thing all settled.
Well, sir, I just had this idea last night, so me and Cedric come over here right early this morning and taken a measurement of the cage and went into the county seat and bought a piece of glass for her.
Well, a feller never would know it was there unless he got right up to the cage this way.
Yeah, well, we can handle that all right, Lum. See, when Abner gets in the cage to put the cats through their tricks, you know, the cage will be clear out in the middle of the tent there. There won't be anybody within 50 feet.
Look out, Mr. Abner. Better not get too close to the glass there. He might jump
Well,
out.
look out there, Abner. He's switching his
Look
tail.
out, Abner. Look out, look out.
Well, if they get Abner out of that cage this time, we bet they'll never get him back in there again. To take you down to Pine Ridge for another visit with Lum and Abner, brought to you by the makers of Horlicks, the original malted milk. Before we go any further, folks, let me ask you a question. Do you get that drowsy feeling in mid-afternoon? If you do, you'll be interested in a suggestion that I'm going to make. It certainly pays to keep alert on the job. Well, here's what to do. Just dissolve a few Horlicks malted milk tablets in the mouth whenever you feel that drowsy feeling coming on. That's a simple enough plan, isn't it? Well, you'll be surprised how they pep you up, put new energy into you, without spoiling your appetite for dinner at night. How did they do it? Well, they contain all the good nourishment, all the sustaining qualities of Horlicks malted milk powder itself. They're really just Horlicks powder in handy tablet form. They're not expensive either. You can get a big flask of these tablets for only a quarter, or a handy pocket-sized one for just a dime. Try them tomorrow. And now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. There was quite a bit of excitement yesterday down at the circus grounds. Squire Skimp had insisted on Abner acting as lion trainer, and Abner conceived the idea of putting a glass partition in the cage which could not be seen from the audience, and yet would permit him to go in the cage without danger. Well, the plan worked fine until the lion crashed through the glass partition right on top of Abner. So as we look in on the old fellows today, we find Lum down at the Jot 'em Down store. Abner has just entered. Listen.
Well, for goodness sakes, Abner, you must have been worse hurt than I thought you was.
Oh, no, I ain't bad hurt. Elizabeth offed all these bandages around on me, said she's afraid that some of them places there might get infected.
Well, that's right, too. Yeah, that lion must have scratched you a heap worse than we thought he did.
No, it weren't the line so much as it was that glass he broke. I don't think he scratched me much at all.
I believe he's about as scared as you was, Abner. When you hit that glass, I never seen such a surprised look on a critter's face in my life.
Well, I was surprised.
Yeah, I mean the lion, though.
Oh, yeah, of course, he never knowed that glass was there.
Yeah, I don't believe that's a very good idea in the first place, putting that glass partition in there.
No, I know now that it ought to have been made out of iron or something like that. I never thought about him jumping through it, you know. I just allowed that he'd sort of catch the glass with his nose there and see he couldn't get through it.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing it scared him, for he'd have clawed you to pieces there before we got you out of that cage.
Oh, yeah. Well, I believe I could go in there now, though, Lum, and he'd be scared to jump at me.
Well, now, don't you go trying it now.
Oh, no, I ain't. I just said I believe.
Well, there ain't no use for me and you to try to make animal trainers out of ourselves, Abner. We just ain't cut out for that kind of work.
No, I don't believe we're neither, Lum.
Thing for us to do is just get Squire to hire somebody to do all them things he's been wanting us to do and forget about it ourselves.
Yeah.
Granted, he might not have had me talk into laying down on one of them elephants, letting that elephant sit down on me.
For the land.
And it ought to have been flatter than a pancake.
Yeah. Well, of course, the reason that Squire wanted us to do it, you know, Lum, was to save expenses.
Yeah, but you notice he ain't taking no chances being ate up by no animal or nothing. He's figuring on being a ringmaster and a barker.
Barker?
Yeah, barking out in front.
Well, what's he going to do that for?
Well, to get folks to come inside the tent.
I don't see how that'll get him in there. Looks to me like that'd run him off. That's the way old Lead, that dog of mine, runs folks off our place over there, is by barking at them.
Yeah, well, that ain't the kind of barking he's going to do, though. He ain't going to bark like no dog, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, what's he going to bark like?
He ain't going to bark like nothing. He's just going to stand up on the platform out there and give the folks a big talk about what we've got on the inside of the tent.
Oh, he's going to make a speech, then?
Well, yeah, that's what it is.
Ain't going to bark at all, huh?
No, that's what they call it in the circus business, a barker.
Oh. Man, I can't get used to this circus talk. I got to out doing his names for things that I ever seen in my life. Like Squire calling them lions and tigers cats all the time.
Well, quick as Grandpap gets back, we'll go over and see Squire and tell him he's just going to have to hire some animal trainer.
Whereabouts is Grandpap at?
Oh, he had to make a delivery over at Sister Simpson's boarding house a while ago. I don't want to leave the store here till he gets back.
Huh?
No, we'll have all we can tend to, Abner, looking after the business end of the circus.
Yeah.
Selling tickets and buying feed for them animals and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have to look after the money end of it now, me and you. I just don't trust Squire too far, you know. I've still got my doubts about him paying any $50 for that steam calliope.
Well, now, Abner, you don't want to start right out mistrusting Squire. You've got to learn to have more faith and confidence in your feller man. You ought to be ashamed of yourself doubting Squire that way. Besides, I've done called up the feller he bought it off of and asked him how much Squire paid for it, and he said $50 was the price, all right.
Yeah, well, I reckon that I was wrong in suspicion anyway.
Oh, yeah. I never doubted him a minute, especially after I talked to that feller about it.
Well, I believe that Squire knows the circus business all right. You can tell that's the way he's going ahead and doing things, you know. I just hope that we can make some money out of it, Tom. That's what I hope.
Yeah.
We've tried might nigh everything else and ain't had no success.
Yeah, we've had some pretty hard knocks, all right.
Yeah.
But it's like that old Eddard saying, everything comes to him who waits.
Everything comes to who?
Him. Him who waits.
Well, who's him?
Whoever you're talking about.
Well, I ain't talking about nobody. You're the one that said that.
Well, I was talking about us.
Which one of us?
Well, both of us. When I said everything comes to him who waits, I mean us.
Well, why didn't you say us, and you said him?
Well, that's the way the saying goes, Abner. Wouldn't sound right to say everything comes to us who waits.
Well, if you're talking about us, why, it sounds all right. I don't see no use in beating around the stump about it. If you mean us, why, say us.
Well, Abner, that's just an expression. Folks won't get impatient, just sit back and wait. They'll eventually get what they want.
Well, I do know. Well, when did they find that out?
Oh, that's an old Eddard saying. They've known that for a long time.
Well, for goodness sake. You mean that all a feller's got to do to get something is just sit back and wait for it?
Well, yes and no.
Which?
Which what?
Which does he have to do?
Well, according to the old saying, if he waits long enough, he'll get it. He'll make a success of himself.
And I dog it, I reckon old Bob Rollins is right then after all.
Bob Rollins?
Yeah.
What's he got to do with it?
Well, if everything comes to him at waits, why, I reckon he'll get that railroad job that he's been waiting for.
Oh.
You know, his woman has been taking in washings now for 15 years, making a living for the family. He says, you know, he's a railroad man. He can't do no other line of work, and
Yeah.
he's waiting for him to build a railroad through Pine Ridge here, you know.
Yeah, no, he said that.
Yeah, and I always thought it's just out-and-out laziness, but I see now what he's doing. He's waiting to be a success. Instead of him going to the railroad, why, he's trying to bring a railroad to him.
No, I don't believe that'll work out very well on Bob, though. You can't just sit and wait. You've got to be a go-getter, too.
Go-getter.
Yeah.
Well, you can't be both, Lum. You can be a waiter or you can be a go-getter, but you have to stop waiting, you know, whenever you go get, because when you get up to go get, well, you have to stop waiting.
Oh,
You
for
just can't.
goodness sakes, Abner, you'd run a body plumb stark crazy.
Well, how can a feller go get something and wait at the same time?
I don't know. You're getting me mixed up now. What was it I said?
Well, I forget myself now just what it was.
There you are. Just let it go. Let it go. Here comes Squire Skimp out there.
Oh,
We
yeah.
can tell him what we decide about training them animals.
Yeah, I want to get out of that if we can, Lum.
Well, it just ain't but one thing to do. That's for us to just come right out flat-footed and refuse to do it.
Yeah, but I don't believe Squire's going to like that, though, Lum.
Well, wait a minute here. Poking this way, me and you is the bosses down there. We own the circus.
Huh?
Squire's working for us.
I know that's right. Why, he's been bossing me around down there to where I plumb forgot about that. Why, sure we are.
Well, I'll just let him know from before.
Wait a minute, I better mind out what you're saying there.
No.
Howdy, Squire.
Come in, Squire. Come in.
Well, howdy, man. I've been looking all over for you. Been waiting for you to show up over at the circus ground.
Been waiting for it.
Well, if you just waited long enough, Squire, why, we'd have been there. You know, everybody comes to him that waits. Yeah.
Shut up, Abner, for goodness.
Well, man, I'm afraid I've got some bad news for you. I don't want to have no hard feelings over it now, but, for the good of the circus, I believe we ought to make some changes.
Make some changes.
Yes, you know, I want to have the grand opening tomorrow afternoon, and time is short, man. I've got to work fast.
Now what's happened, Squire?
Well, I sort of hate to tell you, fellers. I know you're going to be disappointed.
What is it? What are you driving at?
Well, I promised you men that you could be the animal trainers, but in order to have to get the circus ready by tomorrow afternoon, why, I had to hire 2 other fellers this morning to look after that part of the show. And, I'll have to ask you gentlemen to just step down and out and let these fellers have your place.
well, sir, that was just what, of course, we both was terrible anxious to have the job, but if you think it's for the betterment of the show, personal, I'm willing to forget myself and just put the circus first.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Well, fine.
All right, then, it's all set.
Well, it looks like Lum and Abner's circus is all ready for the grand opening tomorrow. Here we are, all ready to take you down to Pine Ridge for another visit with Lum and Abner. Brought to you by the makers of Horlicks, the original malted milk. Anybody listening in tonight who doesn't get the sleep he needs? All right, here's a suggestion. Just before you go to bed, drink a glass full of Horlicks malted milk, hot. Here's what it does. It soothes you and relaxes you despite yourself. You just can't help falling off to sleep easily and naturally. Once asleep, Horlicks helps you sleep soundly. You wake up in the morning feeling rested and refreshed, fit as a fiddle. Try it tonight, folks. You'll never regret it. Don't forget a glass full of Horlicks malted milk hot just before going to bed. Tonight, you can get Horlicks at your druggist in either natural or chocolate flavor. And now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. When we left Lum and Abner last week, the old fellows were getting their circus ready for the grand opening, which was to have been held Saturday. Well, Squire Skimp, who has been employed as manager because of his previous circus experience, predicted a record-breaking crowd for their opening. As we look in on Pine Ridge today, we find Lum down at the Jot 'em Down store talking to Grandpappy Spears. Listen.
Well, when you run out of stuff that way, Grandpap, you want to call the Goff Wholesale Grocery House in there at the county seat and tell them to send it out to you.
Well, the only trouble, they don't sell on a credit loan.
Well, I don't want you to buy stuff on a credit. I want to stay on a cash base, of course. That way I can always tell where I'm at. That is, I can tell where I'm at financially.
Well, how you expect me to pay cash for stuff when you keep taking all the money out of the cash drawer there as fast as we get it in? You come over here Friday and cleaned it out, and Saturday you done the same thing.
Well, I had to take that money them days, Grandpap, to buy some stuff for the circus. Had to pay for that steam calliope Squire Skimp bought for us, and some handbills and one thing and another.
Well, of course, it ain't none of my business, Lum. This is your store. I'm just running it for you, but I can tell you right now, you can't expect this store to keep itself up and the circus, too.
Yeah, I know it. I don't know what to do. Looks like I've got myself into it now, and I can't get out.
Cedric was telling me you never done very well Saturday over there on your opening.
No, we lost money. Tell you the truth, Grandpap, I don't believe Squire Skimp's as good a circus man as he lets on to be.
Well, I thought the show was all right. Me and Charity went down there Saturday night. We enjoyed it something wonderful.
Wait a minute, here comes Abner. We're going to have a sort of a meeting over here this morning. I called Squire Skimp a while ago and told him to come over, too.
Abner backed out on going in the cage with them lions over there, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. You can't hardly get him to walk by the cage anymore now. All he's doing now is just taking up tickets at the door there.
Yeah, howdy, Abner.
Yeah, good morning, man. Good morning.
Come in, Abner, come in.
Yeah, Squire Skimp hollered at me when I passed his place just now, Lum, and said that he'd be over here directly.
Yeah, I called him a while ago. We're going to have a circus meeting over here.
Circus meeting?
Well, a meeting of the owners and the manager of the circus.
Oh, I thought you meant we was going to have the animals over here, too.
No, just me and you and Squire's got to sit down and figure some things out. Granny, there's something wrong here.
Something wrong?
Yeah, that grand opening we had Saturday come might not being a grand closing.
Yeah.
You fellas wants to talk business. I'll go back here and straighten up the feed room. Or you up here to watch the front lawn.
Yeah, all right, Grandpa.
Lum, you ain't blaming me 'cause we never done no business Saturday, are you?
Oh, no.
Well, I know I taken up every ticket that they brung in there.
Yeah, by the way, that's another thing I want to ask you about. You never had no extra tickets in your pocket, did you?
Extra tickets?
Yeah.
I know, I reckon not. The only ones I had was them I taken up at the gate when folks walked in.
Now, you made a mistake there somewhere. You turned in too many tickets to me.
I did, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yesterday, I never had nothing to do, so I was sort of checking up on the money I'd taken in at the box office and checking that again them tickets you'd taken up at the door. And you turned in 44 adult tickets and 26 children. That way, I ought to had $28.50, according to my account.
Yeah?
And I ain't got but $22.50.
Well, I do know.
Reckon you could have dropped some tickets there in the sawdust when you was taking them up, or... No, wait a minute, no. You never found no tickets in the sawdust, did you?
Why, no, I never even knowed there was any there.
I don't know whether there's any there or not. You're long on your tickets, though, I know that. You turned in too many of them to me.
Well, I'll be dead blamed. Just looks like I can't do nothing right no more. I get so disgusted with myself sometimes, I just can't hardly stand it.
Did anybody hand you 2 tickets when they walked in the door there?
2 tickets?
Yeah, I figured maybe that's how come to be long.
Let me see. Yes, sir, they sure did. Old Uncle Henry Lunsford. Well, I'll be dead blame. I never would have thought it of him.
Uncle Henry Lunsford.
Yeah, I dog it there, the fellow we're looking for, right there, Lum. And him a deacon in a church, too. He's a wolf in snake's clothing, a sheep in the grass. That's
Well,
what...
Abner, Uncle Henry was supposed to have 2 tickets. I sold him 2.
Oh, you charged him double price, huh?
No, there was 2 of them.
2 of him?
Well, I mean, there was him and his wife.
Oh, yeah, that kid was with him, yeah.
That's what I say. He had to have 2 tickets. One of them was for him, and one of them was for her.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I thought if that old skinflint put anything over on me, I'd swim that river to go over and give him a licking.
Well, I don't believe it was Uncle Henry. Now that we've got to talking about it, the mistake might have been in the box office.
You mean that you might have made a mistake?
No, of course not.
Oh.
I just happen to think, though, I've heard all my life that circuses is awful bad about shortchanging folks.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. That's just about what happened. Some fella come up there to buy some tickets and hand me a big bill, and then when he went to hand me the change back... Oh, wait a minute. Granny, that's what it is. Oh, it must have been in your tickets, Abner.
Well, I'm just as sore as I can be, Lum. I'll watch it from here out and try not to take up no more than you sell out there. Yeah.
Well, that just accounts for $6. So we lost $40 Saturday.
Lost $40?
Yes, sir. I figured it up yesterday. $40 is what we lost on the day.
We lost? Now, wait a minute now, Lum. You was the one that had all the cash money. You can't lay that off on to me now.
I ain't blaming you with it. Squire's the one to blame, if anybody.
Why, did you let him carry the money?
Why, didn't nobody carry it. We didn't have it.
Well, how in the world are we going to lose $40 if we never had it?
Abner, when I say we lost $40, I don't mean anybody in particular lost it. I mean that me and you, as owners of the circus, lost $40 Saturday. $20 apiece.
Yeah. I don't know what you done, of course, Lum, but I know Dad blamed good and well that I never lost nothing.
You did, whether you know it or not.
Well, all right, I don't want to argue about it, but I never had but $9 in my pocket Saturday, and I don't see how I could have did it.
Well, I don't mean that you lost the cash, Abner. I mean we lost $40 on paper.
On paper?
Well, we went in the whole $40. Our expenses run $62.50 a day, and we never taken in but $22.50. So we lost $40.
Oh, yeah, I believe I'm catching on now, Lum.
Come back here a minute. I want to ask you about something.
Yeah, Grandpap's calling back there, Lum.
Yeah, all right, Grandpap. What is it you want?
$40. Well, I never even knowed we had that much. Well, howdy, Cedric.
Morning, Mr. Abner. Whereabouts is Mr. Lum at?
Why, he just stepped back there in the feed room. What is you wanting to see him about?
I wanted to see if he'd let me have a quarter. I want to have my picture took.
Your picture took?
Yes, Mom. There's a feller joined up with the circus down there that takes your picture for a quarter.
Oh, man.
Me and Clarabelle Seastrump's going to have our picture took together.
Well, I don't believe I'd speak to Lum about it now, Cedric. He ain't in a very good humor with himself. We lost $40 Saturday in the circus.
I never know that.
Yeah, I never neither, but according to Lum's tale of it, we did. He figured them things out some way with figures. I lost $20 myself, he claimed.
I'll look around over there. Maybe I can find it for you. Might have got down in that sawdust.
No, I don't know just how it is, Cedric. Lum explained it to me, but we lost it, and then again we didn't lose it somewhere or other. I don't know.
Well, maybe he lost it and then found it again.
No, he said we never had it to lose.
If you never had it, I don't see how you could have lost it, hardly.
Yeah, well, that's just what I said, too, Cedric. I believe Lum just mixed up on his figure there somewhere.
I don't see how a fella can lose.
Wait a minute. There comes Squire Skinson. I don't say nothing to him about it. He'll be trying to find it himself. Lum said it was his fault for us losing it, too. Hey, Lum, here comes Squire.
Howdy, Mr. Squire.
Well, hello, Cedric. Good morning, Abner.
Morning, Squire.
Well, howdy, Squire.
Oh, hello, Lum. You say you want to have a meeting this morning?
Yeah, we've got to figure something out here, Squire. We're losing money on this circus.
Yes, well, now that ain't hard to explain, Lum. We never done no business Saturday, but I know the reason for that. You see, that circus was in town here for a week before you fellas took it over, in, and we let folks in there for a feed, for the animals a couple of days, where everybody in Pine Ridge here done seen the circus.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, what we've got to do, men, is to move to another location. Start out on the road with it. I'd like to open up the county seat for the middle of the week, and I believe we can do a big business in there.
Yeah, someplace where they ain't saw it yet.
Yeah, it ought to do good in there at the county seat.
Now, the only thing, men, before we can move the circus off of that lot over there, we've got to have something to move it with. And that's going to take money.
Money?
Yes, we can't move a foot till we get some money. And it's just a dead expense while it's there. Them animals, is eating right along, and all the performers there has to be paid.
More money. Who got us into this circus business in the first place?
Well, you've heard of having a white elephant on your hands. Well, Lum and Abner have a whole circus. Howdy, everybody. Here we are, all ready to take you down to Pine Ridge for another visit with Lum and Abner, brought to you by the makers of Horlicks, the original malted milk. And now, before we go down to Pine Ridge, here's a suggestion for that evening party you may be planning. Try serving Horlicks malted milk, or Horlicks with sandwiches. You'll be surprised what an interesting change it makes, one your guests will appreciate, too. They'll prefer it to the usual tea or coffee, and they won't be worried about their sleep later. And besides, Horlicks is so delicious and refreshing. It won't interfere with the bridge game either. It's so easy to prepare. You just have to add sufficient of the powder to water, mix thoroughly with an egg beater, and it's ready to serve. It isn't necessary to add milk or any flavoring unless you desire it. Remember that when you're stumped for something to give to your friends. Horlicks certainly makes a welcome change. Make sure you have on hand a good supply of Horlicks malted milk, either natural or chocolate flavor. And now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. When we left Lum and Abner yesterday, they were very discouraged over the unsuccessful opening of their circus last Saturday, and were trying to figure out some way to move the show to some of the neighboring towns. As we look in on Pine Ridge today, we find Lum and Abner down at Lum's store, discussing ways and means of carrying on. Listen.
Well, I don't like to invest no more money in this circus neither, Abner, but it's like Squire says. If we leave it here in Pine Ridge, we can't expect to get no crowd here. We've got to take it out of town or get shut of at once.
Well, I don't want to get rid of it if we can help it. I've always wanted a circus, and now we got one. Well, I'd love to keep it.
Now, don't you worry. You get to keep it all right. I don't know anybody else that'd have it.
Well, I believe, old when we get it in some of these other towns around here where folks ain't already seen it, why, we'll make some money out of it.
Yeah, all we got to do now is find out some way to raise enough money to get it moved.
Yeah.
Squire talking about buying a bunch of trucks to move it in. Them things cost money.
Yeah, well, Mike could buy them on a credit, maybe.
I don't know. I don't like to go no further in debt on this thing if we can help it. I was just wondering if we couldn't get some of these lumber haulers around here to move us.
Why, we ain't got no lumber to move.
Well, no, but I reckon they could move animals just as well as they can lumber.
Well, I don't know, Lum. I don't believe they could stack them animals up on a truck like they do lumber.
Of course not, but they can set them cages up on the trucks, can't they?
Come to think about it, Lum, there's a transfer company in there at the county seat that we could get to move the elephants.
Transfer company?
Yeah, he's got a sign right there on his truck saying that he moves elephants.
Moves elephants?
That's what it says right on the side there. Says we move anything from a sack of flour to an elephant.
Oh, well, he don't mean he sure enough moves elephants, however.
Well, now, he sure got that rope right on the side of his truck.
Yeah, that's just an expression. He means no matter how little or how big an article is anybody's got to move, why, he'll move it.
Well, they ought to take that sign off of there then, if that's what he means.
Yeah, he just put that on there more than likely for advertisement.
Yeah. Looks to me like a mighty poor advertisement. A few elephants as he is around here.
Well, he never expected to move no elephants when he put it on there.
Well, that's the foolishest thing I ever heard of him. He about like putting a sign up on a store here that you sell steamboats.
Well, in the first place, Abner, we ain't going to have to move the elephants.
Ain't gonna have to move them.
Why, of course not. We'll just...
Why, that's the main part of the show, Lon. Now, we don't want to leave them out here. No, sirree.
No, but them elephants will move themselves.
You mean drive a truck?
No, for goodness sake. No, Abner. Who ever heard of an elephant driving a truck?
I don't know. That'd be the funniest sight I ever seen. An elephant sitting up there in the front seat driving.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, he could signal whenever he wanted to turn a corner, just by sticking out that snout of his to the side. Yeah, I bet them policemen in there at the county seat, I bet they'd think twice before they run out and bawled him out for not stopping at one of them stoplights.
Abner, I'm trying to talk sense to you, and I can't do it.
Why, it sounded all right to me, love. I don't see nothing wrong with what you said.
Yeah, all this silly talk about elephants driving trucks.
Well, you said they'd move themselves, and I just...
What I mean, though, we won't have to haul them in there. We can just let them walk in there.
Walk in?
Why, sure. It ain't but 18 miles.
Yeah, but they don't know the way, love. They don't even know what road to take.
Why, of course not. Somebody'd have to go with them and lead them.
Of course. Now, if they'd ever been in there once, why, they wouldn't have no trouble finding a way again. They don't forget nothing.
No, I know. They don't forget. An elephant never forgets. I've always heard that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that fella that Squire hired over there to train them, he said it's just downright astonishing how they can recollect things.
Yeah.
He was telling me about an elephant that they had with some circus he was with. It said that it recollected a fella that he hadn't saw for 5 years.
For 5 years?
That's what he said.
Well, I do.
He said that there was a feller, that was hunting wild animals in Africa, and that he catched this elephant in a trap. And when he seen the elephant, and seen how pitiful he looked, why, he just decided to just turn him loose again.
Well, that was nice of him.
Yes, sir, and he said 5 years later that same feller was sitting in a circus, clean up in the bleachers. And this elephant was in the show, and said he looked up there and he seen this feller, and he stood there and looked at him a minute, and then he walked right over and picked him up with his trunk and carried him over and set him down in a $3 preserve seat just to show his appreciation.
Oh, I don't believe it.
Never charged him a cent for it. That's what he said.
That fella was just telling you some stuff.
Well, I reckon he ought to know he was in the circus at the time and seen it.
Abner, you stay away from down there with them circus fellers. They've already got you using a batch of them slang expressions.
Oh, no, Lum. Them is fine fellers down there. Why, Lord, we just have a big time together, joshing one another and all. They never can recollect my name, looks like. They've been calling me Hiram ever since they've been here.
Hiram?
Yes, sir. I bet you I've told them 1,000 times that my name is Abner. But, well, they're just right backwards from elephants, They just don't seem to be able to recollect nothing, them circus fellers.
They're just making fun of you. That's what they're doing. You ain't got sense enough to know it.
Oh, no, they're not neither, Lum. No, sir. Why, they're awful nice. Just as nice a folks as I've ever been around in my life. And they'd do anything for you.
Do anything for you?
Why, sure they will. There's one of them down there. He just the same as give me $2 this morning.
Give you $2?
Well, he never exactly give it to me, but he sold me a pair of $5 spectacles for $3.
Did you let that feller down there sell you a pair of spectacles? Let me see them things.
Yeah. Here. Now, there's a bargain for you.
For goodness sake.
Ain't them dandies? Now, he's sure selling them, I'll say that for him.
Yeah.
He's got a new pair of spectacles on every man, woman, and child in fine red.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't want to wear no pair of spectacles he fixed up for me, I'll tell you that right now. Not some feller that's following our circus around that way.
Oh, Lum, you're just mixed up right now. You just don't know what you're talking about. That feller is the best octopus I ever seen in my life. He's a heap better than that I went into the county seat and got that last pair from. He's so much quicker.
Quicker?
Yeah. That feller in there at the county seat, he made me sit there for 2 hours just to fit in my eyes. Reading stuff. He'd stick up a little old card there and say, "Can you read that?"
Yeah, I know they always do that. They're trying to find out a pair that fits you when they do it.
It's just a bunch of foolishness. I know how to read before I went in there.
He wasn't trying to learn you how to read. He was trying to get your eyes fitted.
Well, he never done much of a job, I'll tell him that. Taken him all that time, 2 hours and a half. Then he claimed to me that he'd been plumb through a spectacle college. This feller this morning, he just sort of stood there and looked me over a little and reached down in his case there and pulled out a pair of spectacles and slapped them on me, and there I was. Never taken him 2 minutes.
Was that all he done?
Well, no, he asked me if they hurt my ears, but they never, so I took them.
Yeah, they might fit your ears all right, but what about your eyes? That's what you're supposed to be wearing them for.
Huh?
How did they fit your eyes? Can you see out of them?
Well, I can't tell much about them today, Lum. It's been so dad blame foggy all day.
Foggy?
Yes, sir, I never seen a fog hang on so bad in my life as it has
It
today.
ain't foggy, it's them spectacles. They don't fit you. That's the trouble.
Don't fit.
Well, I mean, they don't fit your eyes right.
Well, he said that I wouldn't be able to see through them at first, and I'd sort of have to give them time to set to my eyes, you know.
If you ain't stone blind by then. Now, you never need no spectacles in the first place.
Oh, yes, I'm old, Lord me. Yes, I did, too. I sure did. My eyes had just plumb went back on me, Lum. I just got to where I couldn't see nothing hardly.
I never heard you complaining about your eyesight.
Well, I never knowed it myself till yesterday. Yes, sir. When a feller gets to where he can't see nothing as big as a bean, why, there's something the matter with his eyes.
A bean?
Yeah. I was down there at the circus grounds yesterday, and there's a feller down there. He had 3 shells there, and then he had a little bean that he put under one of them, you know. And I got to trying to follow that bean, and I lost $9 trying to guess which one of them shells it was under.
You was betting with that fella?
Yeah. I'd have win, too, if my eyes hadn't been so bad.
For goodness sakes. Abner, if I catch you over there betting with them fellers again, I'm going to whop you one.
Well, I can beat him now, Lum, as soon as my eyes get used to these new spectacles.
Where's your old spectacles at?
Huh?
Where's your old ones at?
Oh, I in my pocket.
Let me see.
If you want to buy them, Lum, I ain't got no use for them now.
Of course I don't want to buy them. They wouldn't fit me in the first place.
Well, I don't know now, Lum. Them's awful long handles on there. I believe they'll reach over your ears all right.
I never wore a pair of spectacles in my life. Here, give me them new ones. Now, you put them old ones back on before you run.
Now, wait a minute. Now, don't do that, Lum. Here, wait a minute. Put them back.
You ain't got sense enough to look after yourself. I'll do it for you. I'm going over there right now and get that $3 back for you. And I'm going to run both them fellers off of that circus rod, too. Now, granted, that's one thing I ain't going to stand for a minute. Come on.
Well, the old fellows are learning that there's a lot more to a circus than the animals. Ready to take you down to Pine Ridge for another visit with Lum and Abner, brought to you by the makers of Horlicks, the original malted milk. I wonder how many of the folks who listen to Lum and Abner know what a good source of calcium and phosphorus Horlicks is. These are elements, science tells us, that are so essential for the proper development of teeth. That's why so many dentists recommend Horlicks for growing youngsters. Now, sound teeth, you know, play an important part in the health of growing children. So be sure that your children's teeth get proper attention. By that, I mean 2 things. First, of course, take them to the dentist regularly. There's no substitute for that. Second, make sure their diet contains plenty of the elements that I just mentioned. In other words, just let them drink plenty of Horlicks malted milk. They love the taste, and it works wonders in the development of good, sound teeth. You can get Horlicks, you know, at your favorite druggist in either natural or chocolate flavor. And now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. Here, Lum and Abner are forced to move their circus to a new location, as the attendance in Pine Ridge is so small that they're not making expenses. So they plan to open at the county seat the last of this week, if they can raise enough money to have the show moved. As we look in on Pine Ridge today, we find Grandpappy Spears in charge of the Jot 'em Down store. Abner has just entered. Listen.
No, Lum ain't been down all morning, Abner. He don't stay around the store much no more, you know.
Yeah, well, I wish I could find him. I want to get that $3 from him.
$3?
Yeah, I bought a pair of spectacles from that feller selling them over at the circus grounds, and yesterday, Lum taking them away from me.
I'm going to make him pay you for 'em, huh?
Why, no, he's going to take them back to that feller and make him give me my money back. Claimed he was a fake.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised, Abner, if Lum ain't right about it, too. That feller more than likely talked you into buying them when you never needed them.
Yeah, that's what Lum said. Said he's going to give me my money back, and then he's going to run him clean off in the circus grounds.
Yeah, that's just what he ordered did, too.
Well, I hope I can get that $3. I hate to be out $6 on the deal.
$6?
Yeah.
I thought you said the glasses just cost you $3.
Well, they did.
Yeah, you're just out $3 then.
Why, no. The way the thing stands now, I'm out a pair of $3 spectacles, and then I'm out the $3 I give for 'em. That's $6 any way you look at it.
Well, now, wait a minute. Let's see here. Don't sound just right for some reason or other.
Yeah, well, now, that's a bargain at that, Grandpap. The feller claimed that they was $5 spectacles. And if they are, I'm out $8.
Well, that's just the trouble dealing with a stranger that way, Abner. A body never knows what he's getting himself into.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he might have just told me that. They might have been $10 spectacles. And if they are, I'm out $13.
Well, I wouldn't look at the worst side of it, Abner. Might be they're just dollar spectacles to start with, and if they was, you ain't out but $4.
Well, I hope so. I hope you're right, Grandpa. For if them was $100 spectacles, I'm ruined, just plumb ruined. Dad blame that feller anyway.
Well, wait a minute. I believe that's Lum coming up out yonder now, Abner.
Yeah, good. I want to get this thing settled. I've just worried myself to pieces over it.
Yeah, Lum will have it all straightened out for you. You know, when he run that feller out of town, he got the money before he done it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Lum was a good one to handle it for me.
Yeah, howdy, Lum.
Yeah, come in, Lum. You're just the feller I'm wanting to see.
Gentlemen.
Did you get my money back from that feller?
Did I do what?
For them spectacles that you taken back for me, did you make him give me my money back?
Oh, no, Abner. I went over there and had a talk with him. Here,
Huh?
I brung them back for you.
Bring 'em back.
Now, I don't believe you tried them long enough, Abner. You can't tell nothing about a pair of specs the first day you wear them. Your eyes have got to get used to them, sort of. Here, wear them a while. If they ain't just right then, you can go back and get your money back. There's plenty of time.
Yeah, but I thought he was a fake.
Well, I don't know where you got such ideas at in your head. You oughtn't to ever accuse anybody of being a fake, Abner, unless you know what you're talking about.
Oh.
You've got to learn to trust folks, have confidence in your feller man, in your neighbor.
Well, he ain't my neighbor, Lum. He don't even live here.
Well, now, you wear them specs for a few days, and if they don't work out right, you can always change them.
Yeah, but it's too late now, and him done left town.
When did he leave town?
Well, you suggested you was going to run him out of town.
Oh, yeah, but I got to talking to him. That fella knows a heap more about fitting spectacles than I allowed he did.
Well, I told you that he was a good octopus, and you wouldn't believe me.
Yeah, I told him we was proud to have a man like him in the community.
Yeah.
Is he going to locate here, Lum?
No, he's traveling with the circus. I know he said yesterday he's going with them when they moved into the county seat.
Yeah, I heard him.
Uh-huh. I'd sort of like to have him look my old eyes over and see if I need a new set.
A new set of eyes?
No, a new set of glasses. I've been wearing these things for 20 years.
Well,
I'd sure go down there and talk to him, Grandpap. He does know spectacles.
Yeah, I'll slip off down there directly and have him examine me.
oh, he's a genius, that feller is. Yes, sir. He can just stand there and look at your grandpap and just tell you what you're supposed to wear.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, these I'm wearing ain't got set to my eyes good yet. Everything looks sort of blurry to me.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just glad that you never swapped back with him, Lum. I think in time I can learn to see through these nearly as good as I could my old ones.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, what I come over for, I've got some prices here on what it's going to cost us to get that circus hauled into the county seat.
I thought Squire Skimp was going to tend to that first.
Well, Abner, if you want anything did right, you've got to do it yourself.
Yeah.
That is, some of it. Squire don't know nothing about business. He just spends money promiscuous. He don't care nothing about what nothing costs. There ain't nothing out of his pocket, you know.
No.
Recollect, this is our money we're spending.
Well, I never meant nothing by it, Lum. I just said that I thought Squire was going to look after it first. That's all I said.
No, you see, I've got out here myself and got a lot of fellers bidding against one another on it. Get all their prices and then hire the cheapest one.
Uh-huh. Who's got the lowest price?
Well, I ain't done yet. I've got one more feller to see. Just happened to think a while ago Walter Bates' sawmill shut down, and might get that logging crew of his to move us in there.
Yeah.
Might could catch Walter at home today.
Yeah, might, sure.
No, Lum, you're more than likely to find Walter down about Moe's Moose Barber Shop. I seen his woman out planting the garden when I come by their place this morning. I know he wouldn't hang around the house and that going on.
No.
If he's planting garden, he ain't home. That's a change. Yeah, I'll call up the barber shop. Let's see. What is Moses' ring?
2 shorts and a long.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, if Walter shut down over at the mill, why, he ought to be glad to get them mules to work in there, just standing up there in the lot eating their heads off.
Hello? Mose?
That's what I'd do. I'd get him out.
Is Walter Bates there?
Walter's fine.
Uh-huh. I'd love to talk to him a minute, please. Huh?
And these spectacles are the same, Grandpa.
Well...
About 3 pair.
All right. He said he was glad I called. Said Walt's been asleep there in a chair for over an hour.
Well, yeah, them loafers down there is a nuisance. Going to sleep in a chair that way. They get to sleep, Mose can't wake 'em up. I had to let Mose shave me sitting in the shine chair Saturday. Uncle Henry Lunsford dropped off to sleep there in a barber chair, and Mose couldn't wake him up.
Must be having the same trouble with Walt.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Hello, Walt. This is Lum Eddard's talking.
I'm going to fit Elizabeth and Pearl up the pair.
Yeah, I wanted to see you about doing a little hauling for us. Yeah, well, I figured long as your teams was laying off, not doing nothing, might could get you to haul that circus of ours into the county seat for us. Oh, I don't know, ought to be 12, 15 good loads. Well, I've got some mighty good prices on it, but if you can beat them, the job's yours.
Why, sure, natural.
I wanted to get started right early in the morning, if good.
Yeah, I ought to get up awful early.
Yeah, Squire wants to parade the streets in there at the county seat before noon. Oh, ain't nothing to be feared of, Walt. They're all in cages. They can't hurt nobody. Well, just a flat price on the whole job. How much? All right, I grant you it's a deal then. If you come over there to the circus grounds this afternoon, I'll show you what all's got to be did.
Yeah.
All right, Walt. Not at all, not at all. Goodbye. Granny, that was a good idea, calling him $40 for moving a whole circus.
Yeah, I don't know. $40 is a lot of money, Lum.
Yeah, but look at here at these other prices I got here. Wait a minute. Let me slip my specs on.
Well, for the land's sake.
I never knowed you took to wearing glasses, Lum.
Why, no.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had to get them. In fact, my eyes is in such bad shape, he said this morning, it's a wonder I never ruined my health.
Well, I do know. Here you joshing me about buying a pair of them down there, and then you went and got yourself fitted.
Well, he said I ought to have been wearing them about 20 years ago. That's what's caused my asthma, he said.
Uh-huh.
Yes, sir, they're right becoming to you, Lum, I'll say that. Yeah, I thought so. Here's them figures.
Yeah, well, wait a minute. Let me get my spectacles off here so as I can see them.
Get them off?
Yeah.
Can't you see them letters? They're big as boxcars. I don't know how come me to write so big. These glasses must sort of magnify stuff, though.
Oh, yeah, I can see the figures now with my glasses on. We're getting right down here close to it, getting right again the paper.
That's good. Better to use them if you can.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, here comes somebody.
Where? I don't see nobody. Who is it?
I don't know. I never seen him before. Must be some giant squires hard for their circus. Look at the size of that feller.
Well, I can't see nobody.
It's Cedric Weehunt's who it is. What's the matter with you fellers anyway?
Cedric?
Look out where you're going, Cedric. What are you trying to do, run over a feller? He ain't about to run over you, Lum. He's clean up the front of the store. Come in, Cedric.
Yeah, howdy, Cedric, wherever you are.
Howdy, fellers. I thought you was way off yet. Who are you?
Who are we? What's the matter with you?
Here, let me get these specs off. Looks like you're fixing to step right on me here.
Well, I still don't see him.
Now, what's the matter with you, Cedric? What you feeling your way around that way for?
Oh, that feller down there at the circus ground showed me some new spectacles a while ago, and I can't see where I'm a-going.
Well, things are certainly looking different to our old friends in Pine Ridge now, whether they're any better or not. Here we are, all ready to take you down to Pine Ridge for another visit with Lum and Abner, brought to you by the makers of Horlicks, the original malted milk. First, however, let me remind you that Horlicks, the original malted milk, is a nourishing, easily digested food. Made from rich, full cream milk and the finest of wheat and malted barley, it is so carefully processed by Horlicks' original method in vacuum that it retains the precious minerals and vitamins that we need. It is a food that nourishes, invigorates, and sustains you while at your work. One that can be used with benefit by all, from infancy to old age. A food that brings results. Protect yourself. Get Horlicks, the original and genuine, which has been used and recommended by physicians all over the world for almost 50 years. Refuse imitations and substitutes which do not bring results and which do not possess the remarkable flavor and nutritive value of Horlicks. And now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. When we left Lum and Abner yesterday, they had just closed the deal to have their circus moved into the county seat. As we look in on Pine Ridge today, we find that the circus has been moved to the new location and will open this afternoon with Squire Skimp in charge. Grandpap has left the store in charge of Abner and Cedric Weehunt for a few moments. Someone is just entering the front door. Listen.
Who is it, Cedric? Who is it? I can't see a thing with these spectacles on.
I don't know. I think it's Mr. Lum. He's so far off I can't hardly tell.
Well, what you fellers doing sitting here?
Huh?
I was one, Mr. Lum. I thought you was 100 yards off there.
Yeah, I heard you, but I couldn't see you.
I spoke to you fellers 3 times, but I reckon I weren't close enough for you to hear me. These spectacles of mine makes things look a heap closer to me in the air.
Yeah, well, how your spectacles feel now, Lum? Have your eyes got set to them yet?
No, they're still bothering me a little. I can't get used to things looking so close to me this way. They magnify.
Yeah.
Mine makes things look far away from me, sort of.
Well, it's a good thing you got them then. That shows you're far-sighted.
Well, sir, I still can't see a thing out of mine.
Let's see them things, Abner. You ought to be able to see something out of them.
Oh, well, I can see folks moving, but I can't tell who it is. It's sort of blurred like.
Mm-hmm. Let me try them on there.
My eyes have just been burning like fire.
Well, no wonder. Look how red they are.
Huh?
Your eyes is all red. Granny, it's a good thing you got them specs when you did. You'd have been blind for long. What you wallering your eyes around that away for? Looks like a dying calf in a hailstorm.
Well, I'm just trying to see how red my eyes are, but I can't do it. I ought to have a looking glass, then I could. I bet.
Granny, Abner, I can't see nothing out of these things neither. Your eyes are in bad shape.
Hey, let me try them of yours, Lum. I'm getting sort of uneasy about myself. I might be going plumb blind here.
Yeah, slip them on. There.
Oh, my goodness, Lum, get that thing off of me. Get him off, Lum. Get him off.
What,
Get him
what
off.
are you talking about?
That varmint there on my arm. Get him off. Knock him off there,
You
Lum.
mean right there?
Yeah, get the sugar scoop there. Knock him off of
Oh,
there.
for goodness sakes, Abner, ain't nothing but a little old fly.
Well, that's the biggest one I ever seen. I know that he can take an arm right off a feller.
Oh, that's just them glasses of mine you got on. No wonder they magnify everything.
Just look around the store a little.
Oh. Yeah, I see now. Yeah, they exaggerate, don't they?
Zachary. Zachary.
Oh, Swan. Cedric, you look a sight sitting there.
Mom? What you sitting there so quiet about, Cedric?
Oh, I forgot. These spectacles of mine make you look so far away, I forgot I could talk to you.
Let me see them spectacles of yours, Cedric.
I'd love to take them off anyway.
Yeah, here, Lum. Here. You better put your specs back on now before you ruin your eyes.
Yeah. Look out, Cedric. Don't crowd up so close that way.
I never moved.
You know. Oh. Yeah, she's glasses. Granny, looks like you got your nose right in my face. And Granny, your eyes is red too, Cedric.
Well, I ain't surprised. My eyes has been burning something wonderful.
Yeah, it's a good thing that spectacle salesman come to town when he did. You sure needing glasses, you could tell that.
Yes, ma'am. I never even knowed it, neither. I just thought my eyes was working all right, for as I knowed. But I just stand around over there where that fellow was selling them at, over there by the circus grounds, and he said he could tell by looking at me that I needed them. I was just standing there counting the money, and he hollered at me. I reckon I was counting it so slow he could tell I couldn't half see.
Yes, sir, that feller has been a big help to this community. He's got new glasses on might nigh everybody in town.
There's one. He says it's the drinking water here in Pine Ridge that causes everybody's eyes to be in such bad shape. He thinks.
Well, it must be something. For he ain't examined nobody's eyes yet that ain't needed glasses.
Well, as this Eastrunk sure thinks the world and all of him. He taken his whole family over there yesterday evening and had them all fit out with them. All the young'uns and everybody. Even that little baby of theirs. Just 2 months old. Of course, I had to put nose glasses on him for the handles was too long to go over his ears.
You mean they put nose glasses on little Herman?
Yes, Mama. I wish I'd have got that kind, too. They got a sort of a button that goes with them, and they pin that on little Herman's dress. Then there's a chain runs from the spectacles to the button and winds up somewhere or other, sort of like a window blind.
You don't mean reading glasses?
No, I don't think so. I don't even think the baby can read.
Well, it comes by that natural. Ezra can't even read himself. Can't even write, for that goes.
Well, Ezra can sign his name, I know, for I saw him do it.
Yeah, but he can't sign it without rawing his tongue out.
Hey, Lum!
Oh, for goodness sake, Abner, don't be hollering in my ear that way.
Oh, excuse me, I forgot, Lum. You look like you were sitting clean across the room there. Yes, these spectacles are Cedric's that I got on here, reckon.
Well, take them off. Give them back to Cedric before he ruins his eyes sitting there without them.
Yeah.
Holler here in my ear and me with a splitting headache.
Yeah, here, Cedric. Have you got a headache too, Lum?
Headache? It's been splitting wide open for 2 days now.
Well, sir, mine has too. I never slept a wink last night. Up with it all night long.
What does a headache feel like?
Didn't you ever have a headache, Cedric?
Oh, I reckon not. The reason I asked, I've had a hurting up here in my head for 2 days now. I didn't know what it was.
There must be an epidemic of headaches around here. Everybody I've saw's got a headache.
Well, Elizabeth said that she thinks maybe it's my eyes, but I know it ain't, or these spectacles would have stopped it.
No, couldn't be your eyes, but we've got them all took care of.
Yeah, that's what I say. I don't know what's caused it. It's the first headache I've had in years. I don't recollect
Wait,
when I
believe that's our ring.
Oh, yeah. What's the matter?
Plain chair. Hello? Essom, this is him. All right. The county seat's calling.
Who?
The county seat.
Oh.
Squire Skimp, I reckon he was here. I told Squire to call up after the afternoon performance and let us know what kind of a crowd they had and all.
Uh-huh.
Yes, Mom, I'm holding it. We ought to went in there with them, I reckon. Help them get started, but... Swan, my head was hurting so bad I never felt like doing nothing, hardly.
Well, I never felt like it neither, up all night that way. I just never felt like doing nothing.
Well, I aimed to go, but I got up this morning and looked over there where they're loading the tent and all that stuff. Looked so far away, I just figured I wouldn't have time to get there before they left.
No,
So I never went.
Well, maybe we'll all feel better tomorrow and we can go in there and see how the circus is getting along. Just go in the county seat, you know, and see Squire and ask him
Wait
how.
a minute. Hello? Squire? Yeah, this is him.
Yeah.
How did you do?
No, I say, how did you do? Yeah.
Oh, that spectacle salesman. He's a friend in need.
Well, fine. That's sounding a heap better. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm going to take Elizabeth
Well,
and
that's
Pearl.
fine, Squire. I'm so proud to hear.
And we put a pair on Elizabeth and Pearl, too.
Well, I don't know. I don't believe we can make it tonight, Squire. We're all about half sick with a bad headache.
Oh, me, my head is killing.
I don't know. Something we had, I reckon.
It's hurting something wonderfully all day.
Yeah, it might be. It might be. Well, we will try to get in there tomorrow, though, Squire. All right. Glad you called. And glad to hear you're doing so well. All right. Goodbye. Granny, that's sounding better.
Done good today, huh?
Oh, said they had an uncommonly big crowd. Tent was full.
Well, I do know. Well, that's fine.
I believe Squire's going to do all right, Abner. He does know the circus business.
Oh, yeah, that was a good idea, moving it out of town, getting it in there where we can get a crowd.
Wait a minute, that's our ring again. Might be Squire calling back.
Oh.
Move that thing, Cedric.
You mean that chair way over yonder?
I don't see no chair.
Mouthpiece on this telephone looks like it's big enough for me to crawl inside of. Hello? This is a jot 'em down store. Oh, yes, Mom. Yes, Mom. Well, Cedric's here now, and I'll just get him to run over there with it. What was it you wanted? Dozen eggs, can of baking powder, 2 cans of tomatoes, box of snuff. All right, he'll be right over there with it. Thank you, Mom. Not at all. Goodbye. Cedric, I want you to run over to the Widow Abernathy's for me. Get a can of baking powders and 2 cans of tomatoes off the shelf over there.
Yes, Mom.
Yeah, let me get these specs of mine off, and I'll help you. Now, maybe I can see something.
Yeah, get a can of snuff over there, Abner. And we'll have this order out in no time. We'll get a sack here. They yonder too big. Them little sacks we have. Yeah, let's let us find. 1, 2, 3, 4.
What in the world are you doing there, Lum?
Counting out this dozen eggs for the winter.
Why, them ain't eggs, you idiot. Them's navy beans you're counting out there. Navy beans.
Well, the circus may have left town, but the spectacle salesman will long be remembered in Pine Ridge. Howdy, everybody. Here we are, all ready to take you down to Pine Ridge for another visit with Lum and Abner, brought to you by the makers of Horlicks, the original malted milk. First, here's a word about one thing that we all have in common. All of us want to get the most for our money. And if you buy Horlicks malted milk, you get full value. In Horlicks, you get a scientifically processed combination of full cream milk and the finest of wheat and malted barley. This delicious and easily digested food is so carefully processed by Horlicks' original method in vacuum that it retains the precious minerals and vitamins that we need. Horlicks is in a class by itself. Protect yourself. Get Horlicks, the original and genuine, which has been used and recommended by physicians all over the world for almost 50 years. Refuse imitations and substitutes which do not bring results and which do not possess Horlicks' remarkable flavor and nutritive value. Well, now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. Well, Lum and Abner's Circus opened at the county seat yesterday, and from all reports did a big business on their opening day. Lum and Abner were unable to make the trip, and have turned the management of the show over to Squire Skimp. As we look in on Pine Ridge today, we find Grandpappy Spears in charge of the Jot 'em Down store. Abner has just dropped in looking for his old friend Lum. Listen.
Yeah, it's been awful windy today, awful windy.
Oh, I never seen the like of it. Just might nigh blowed me down walking over here.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me none if we never had a storm.
No, the way them clouds is gathering over here, it sure looks like it. Whereabouts is Lum at, Grandpa?
He ain't been back over here since noon, Abner.
He ain't.
Lum ain't feeling very well.
No, I know he ain't. Well, I ain't neither as far as that goes.
He's been complaining about a terrible headache.
Uh-huh.
I told him this morning I believe it's just his eyes are bothering him.
No, I don't much believe it is, Grandpap. He just got them new spectacles, you know, just the other day, and his eyes oughtn't to be giving him no trouble at all now.
Yeah, I don't know. He was down here this morning, said his eyes are about to kill him.
Yeah, well, mine is the same way. No, me, if we hadn't have got our glasses when we did, why, I believe we'd have both been blind by this time.
Yeah. Well, Abner, of course, it ain't none of my business, but I just don't believe them glasses fit you fellas right.
Well, I don't see how they could fit no better. Look at there. Look how nice they fit up over my ears there. I never had a pair that felt more comfort. On my ears, anyway. They're still awful blurry to look through, but that octopus said, you know, it'd take a few days for them to get set to my eyes.
Yeah, I could tell you was having some trouble seeing through them.
Oh, yeah.
I noticed you sort of feeling your way along the counter there when you was coming in.
Yeah. Well, I just can't see nothing till I get right up close to it. Not a thing in the world.
Oh, yeah. Lum says his makes things look like they heap closer to him in the air.
Yeah.
Makes things so much bigger.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that set that he's got, they exaggerate things something wonderfully, yeah. I tried them on here yesterday. A fly lit on my arm while I was wearing them. I looked down and seen it, and it just might not scare the daylights out of me. I never seen such a varmint.
Yeah. Well, sir, I like to laugh my head off at Lum this morning. He was coming across the road out there, and all of a sudden he lit into running and hollering, "Look out, look out!"
What was the matter with him? Was he feared of? What was wrong?
Well, it weren't nothing. There was an automobile about 100 yards up the road there, and he looked at it through them spectacles of his and thought it was right on him, about to run over him.
Well, I do know. But it's a good thing it was Lum instead of Cedric. Yeah, them spectacles of Cedric's, you know, they make everything look far off, you know. I'm just afraid for Cedric. I'm feared he's going to get run over. The car could be right on him, you know, and still look like it was 50 yards off.
Yeah, there's something wrong with them glasses you fellers bought. I don't know what it is, but I don't believe that feller you bought them off of knows nothing about fitting them, tell you the truth.
Don't know nothing about fitting them?
No, sir.
Oh, yes, he does, Grandpap. Yeah, you're wrong about that. Oh, me, he's the quickest hand at it I ever seen in my life. Why, it never taken him 2 minutes to get me fixed up. He just reached down this case there and pulled out a pair and set them on my ears, and there I was. Never taken him no time at all, hardly.
Well, it's just strange to me that you, Lum or Cedric, neither one ain't never been bothered with your eyes none. And here you bought them spectacles, and ever since you've had headaches, and your eyes have been burning you and everything else.
Yeah. Oh, well, my eyes are just getting worse, that's all. They're just failing me. Last few days here, why, I ain't been able to see nothing. I run over things, run into anything. I walked right smack dab into the side of Dick Huddleston's store this morning like I broke my nose, never seen it till I hit it.
Well, I do know.
I just can't hardly get through a door at all no more. And it's a funny thing about it, too, Grandpap. Now, I can see a heap better without them glasses than I can with them.
See better without them?
Yes, sir. Now, well, right now, I can't see the far side of the store setting from here. I sure can't do it.
Well, I do know.
But I can take them off. Now, wait a minute. Now I can see them shelves just as plain as day.
Well,
see all them canned goods lined up on there and everything. Oh, there's tomatoes and salmon and baking powder.
If you can see better without them, then why in the world don't you just take them off, not wear them at all?
Oh, no, sir, no, Grandpap. If I need them as bad as that salesman said I did, why, I dasn't let myself go a day without 'em. Right now is when I need 'em, when my eyes is like this.
Wait a minute. Yeah, here comes Lum now.
Yeah.
Must be wearing his new spectacles the way he's walking there.
Yeah, look at him. Look how he's picking up his feet there, would you? Puts me in mind of a trained horse.
Well, he can't half see, Abner.
Oh, no, them spectacles exaggerate things sort. I reckon them little rocks out there in the road look like great big boulders to him, the way he's picking up his feet like.
Well, I reckon what he's circling way out around there for. Look at him.
Well, I do know. Well, I don't know unless it's that tin bucket laying there. Yeah, that looked like a barrel to him with them spectacles he's got.
More than likely. I know somebody come in here this morning wanting a bucket of molasses and called me to come over to help him lift it down off the shelf. He got to looking at it through them glasses of his and feared he couldn't lift it.
Well, I ain't surprised. Howdy, Lum.
Gentlemen.
How you feeling today?
Well, all right, except my head's still splitting wide open. Never had a headache hang on so in my life.
Huh?
I say my head's still about to kill me.
Well, talk louder. I can't hear you.
You ain't deaf, here you?
Well, come on back here. What you standing way back there for?
Oh, yeah. Granted, can't get used to these specs. You fellas look like you're right under my nose here.
Yeah, well, take them spectacles off so we can see what you're doing.
Abner, you better put yours back on. Your eye's in bad enough shape now. All red there.
Yeah, I expect I better. I forgot about it. Here, let me get them on. I've been waiting here for you, Lum. I just thought I'd drop over and see if you'd heard anything from Squire Skim.
Yeah, he just a while ago called me.
He did?
Yeah, just right after the matinee performance was over.
Well.
Said we was doing uncommonly well. Said the sideshow was doing a good business.
Well, good. I'm proud to hear that.
Yes, sir. That might make you fellers a good man, old Squire. Might make you a good man after all.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the very man for the job. He's a jewel. A jewel.
You ought to make some money out of that circus, feller.
Oh, we will. Ain't no doubts about that. This grocery business here is just going to be a sideline to me. I can tell that already.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like the circus business a heap better, too, Lum.
Well, the beauty of the circus business ain't no grief to it.
Ain't no what?
No grief. It's all cash.
Oh, yeah.
You walk up and hand you the money for a ticket, and you're done with them. Here in the store business, they're always wanting stuff on a credit, and if they do pay cash, more than likely they'll bring it back in a few days and want to exchange it for something else or get their money back one. But you can never tell where he's at in the grocery business.
No, that's the trouble with it, all right. Fella work hard all day selling stuff, and then half of it's liable to be brought back the next day.
Yeah, I think, Abner, in a few months, me and you be known as the biggest circus men in the world.
Yeah, that's the time. Well, sir, you know, I'm doing all that business in there, Lum. I'd sort of love to go in there and look things over and see the crowd.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't mind to drive in there tonight myself. If Cedric wants to go mighty bad.
He does?
Yeah, he's been trying to find a ride in there all day.
Well, that'd be all right. You said drive-in, huh?
Yeah.
Who was you aiming on doing the driving?
Sort of aimed on doing the driving myself.
Oh, no, sir, now, Lum. I don't ride in there with you in no automobile. No, sir.
What's the matter?
Not with them spectacles on of yours. I know the way things look so close to you. Why, be driving along there and you'd see a curve and look right up again you and you'd start turning there and you'd be about 100 yards away from it. No, sir.
Well, you ain't going to let Cedric drive.
Well.
Granted, them spectacles of his, and he never would make the turn. He'd go right on by it before he turned.
Well, I reckon I'll just do the driving myself, then. That's what I'll do. I'll drive first.
You drive?
Yeah.
Well, that'd be worse than ever. You can't see nothing.
No, I know that's right. Well, let's see if
Wait a minute. That's our ring. I'll answer it.
Oh, yeah.
Hello?
I know I ain't going to ride with him.
This is a Jot 'em Down store.
Wrap that automobile around something. That's what
Well, this is him. All right, I'll hold it.
Oh.
More likely Squire calling us about something from the county seat.
Yeah, I reckon he wants to know what time we're going to get in there.
Hello? Squire? Yeah. Uh-huh.
The circus business is a business.
Huh? How's that? You don't mean it.
Hey, what's the matter, Lum? What's the matter?
Oh, for goodness sakes, for good...
What is it,
Squire
Lum?
said they had a terrible storm in there just a while ago and blowed the tent down, and we've got animals scattered all over the county seat.
Didn't Lum say there's no grief in the circus business? Howdy, everybody. Here we are, all ready to take you down to Pine Ridge for another visit with Lum and Abner, brought to you by the makers of Horlicks, the original malted milk. But first, I have something to say that I feel is very important. All this week, thousands of people like ourselves will be buying malted milk for themselves and for their families. Now, I feel I can't use my time to better advantage tonight than to remind all our listeners who are going to buy malted milk to ask for and get Horlicks, the original and genuine. Not to accept one of the inferior imitations of Horlicks that are flooding the market. My friends, you don't get a bargain when you buy a substitute for Horlicks. That substitute may even be a mixture of skim milk, inferior malt powder, and ordinary sugar. Now, that's no way to buy, especially when the health of your family and yourself is at stake. So I advise that you always ask for Horlicks and insist on it. Horlicks, which contains all the nourishment of rich, full cream milk and the finest of malted grains. You won't be disappointed then, for Horlicks always gives results. Keep a package on hand. It has so many uses. You can get it, you know, at your druggist in either natural or chocolate flavor. Ask for Horlicks at the fountain, too. You are entitled to the best. And now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. Well, when we left Lum and Abner last week, they had just received a telephone call from Squire Skimp, who was in charge of their circus at the county seat, informing them that a heavy windstorm had blown down the tent, and that the 2 elephants and some of the other animals had broken loose and were terrorizing the citizens of the town. Well, the old fellow's made a hurried trip to the county seat, straighten out the difficulty, and apparently everything is running smoothly again. For as we look in on Pine Ridge today, we find Lum and Abner down at the Jot 'em Down store, where Grandpappy Spears is looking after Lum's interests. Listen.
Lum, if you're going to be here at the store for a few minutes, I'll take this batch of groceries on over to Seastrump's. She says she's in a hurry for 'em.
Yeah, all right, Grandpapa. I'll stay here till you get back. Me and Abner's got some business to straighten out here.
Yeah, go ahead, Grandpap.
That voice of yours, Abner, sounds like you're hollering down a well.
Yeah, you reckon them spectacles of mine could have affected my voice too, Lum?
I don't know, it might have.
Yeah, I believe they'd give me a cold somewhere.
Affected my head. I mean, it's given me a headache, I know that.
Oh.
Well, let's get down to business. What do you want to do, Abner? You want to give up, quit right here, or go on?
Well, we might wait and see how we come out over at Belleville this week before we decide.
If we don't do no better than we done in there at the county seat, I'm in favor of just getting shut of it.
Well, I still don't see what kept us from making some money in there, Lum. They had uncommonly big crowd.
Yeah, but the expenses is eating us up. The overhead.
The what?
The overhead.
Well, why don't we just cut that out then?
Cut out the overhead?
Yeah, if that's what keeps us from making money, why, we can just cut it out.
Well, we got to have some overhead.
No, I don't know, Lum. Not with this pretty weather. I believe we can do without it. If it rains, why, we can just call the show off.
You don't even know what I'm talking about. What's the weather got to do with the overhead?
Well, we just wouldn't need no tent if the weather stays
The
pretty.
tent ain't overhead, Abner.
Well, it's supposed to be. That's what a tent's for.
The overhead ain't got nothing to do with a tent. It's the...
Oh, now, I know what you're talking about now, sure. What's the matter with me? Why don't we fire every one of them trapeze performers then, Lum, if they're what's running up the expense?
Abner, for goodness sake. Just because the trapeze performers is up in the top of the tent, that ain't no sign they're overhead.
Well, maybe they ain't, but they sure look like it to me from where I was sitting.
Well, they're overhead, but they ain't overhead. Overhead is expenses, like what the elephants eat. That's overhead.
Oh, you mean hay, huh? Well, why didn't you say so?
What all the animals eat, and what the fat woman eats, and all.
You mean the fat woman's eating hay, too?
Oh, I'll swan, Abner, you're the hardest feller to explain anything to I ever seen in my life. The overhead is all the expense of the circus. Squire Skimp is overhead.
He is?
All the advertising, wages we're paying the performers, and all such as that. You see, any business has got overhead to it.
Well, what if they don't have no elephants to eat hay?
We'll have some other kind of overhead. Like here in the store. The business here, my overhead is Grandpappy Spears. If it wasn't for the overhead, a body could make money in any business.
Well, if I was you, then I'd just fire Grandpap. Get somebody in here. It weren't no overhead.
Well, it ain't his fault.
Can't you make him stop it?
Stop what?
Why, being overhead expense, eating hay or whatever it is he's doing.
He ain't doing nothing, I told you. If I got somebody else in here, it'd be the same thing.
Well, I swan to goodness.
You still don't know what I'm talking about, Abner. What I'm trying to tell you is we've got so many expenses, they're eating up the profits. I'm trying to figure out where the trouble's at.
Yeah. Well, it just looks to me like there's too much eating going on.
Well, just forget about the eating. Now, here's a statement Squire made out for us when we was in there Saturday, showing what we took in and showing all the expenses.
It is.
That's what I called you to come over here first, so as we could sit down and figure this thing out.
You mean that you think he's made a mistake in his figures, huh?
No, but we can tell by this where we can cut down some of the overhead. According to these figures here, we taken in $416 for the 2 days in there.
Well, fine. Yeah, let's see now. Half of $416.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. That's what we're taking in. Don't start dividing it up yet.
Well, I thought we was in partners on it. Half of it belonged to me.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to tell you. The overhead ate it up.
You mean to say that Squire and the elephants and the fat woman ate up $416 worth of overhead?
They ain't the only overhead we've got, Abner.
Well, Grandpappy Spirit ain't eating off the circus, too, is he?
Abner, if you'll be quiet a minute, I'll explain the whole thing to you. Here, I'll read Squire's report, and you can see for yourself.
Well, I doubt where I can see it with these spectacles on, but go ahead and read it. I'll take your word for it.
These are the biggest figures Squire made I ever seen in my life.
I can't see them.
Looks that way through these spectacles. Receipts, that's the amount we took in, see, $416.
Uh-huh.
Expenses. This is the overhead. Here's where we've got to find the leak.
I thought you said it weren't the tent.
Shut up and listen. Explain it to you. Feed for the animals, $87. Moving circus to county seat, $40.
Yeah.
Performers and circus hands' wages, $160.
That's awful high.
Advertising, that's handbills and the one sheets, I believe he called them, and posters and stuff like that, $92.
$92?
Yeah. Well, we've got to advertise it if we're going to get anybody to come in there.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Damages on tent when blown down by a windstorm, $38.
Yeah.
Damages done by elephant when he broke loose, that's that fruit stand he wrecked, $26.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised to get out of that. Squire said he just tore that whole thing up.
Oh, yeah. Expense of recapturing animals, rewards, and so forth, $43. The Squire said that included some damages that the camels and the zebra done when they was loose, too.
Yeah.
And feed for the fat woman, 2 days, in parentheses, 16...
In where?
In parentheses.
I thought it was in the county seat.
Well, it was, but never mind. 2 days, $16.
You mean it cost $16 to feed her for 2 days?
That's what he's got down here. I asked Squire about that, and he said that's money well spent, though. See, the more she eats, the fatter she'll get, and the fatter she gets, the more people want to see her, and the more people wants to see her, the more money we'll make.
Yeah, but she ought to feed herself, Lum. We can't afford to buy grub for her. Costs more to feed her than it will them 2 elephants.
Yeah, but Squire said we'll make it all back on the Slim Man, though. See, made the same kind of a deal with him.
Oh, well, that's all right, then.
See here, next item. Food for Slim Man, $1.20.
Uh-huh.
Incidental expense, $20. That's the last item there.
What's that?
Incidental? Well, it's, well, it's just little things that he had to buy. Tickets and paint and extra help and one thing or another. Anyway, the whole thing figures up to $522.20, making us lose $106.20.
We lost that much money?
Yes, Squire had to stand some of the performers off before they could get him to let him move the circus on over to Belleville.
Well, now, they ought to be paid, Lum.
I know it. It's got me worried to death.
Oh, my.
And we owe $50 to that trucking company for moving them over to Belleville.
Is that what they charge?
Yeah. Of course, if they do well over there at Belleville, we might can pay them off and make a little money ourselves. That is, if they don't have no windstorm to blow the tent down again. Now, that's what ruined us in there at the county seats, that storm.
Yeah. But you know, Lum, I don't trust that Squire too far neither. We ain't got no way of telling where he's turned in all the money he took in or not.
Well, I don't know, Abner. I can't help but believe Squire's honest about this report.
Well, I believe one of us ought to sell tickets, and then we know we're getting all the money that comes in there.
Well, I can't do it with these spectacles I bought, I know. See, they magnify things so bad, don't nothing look right. Dime looks about like a $50 to me. I can't even make change here in the store.
Well, why don't you take your spectacles off then?
Well, I can't see nothing then. I wore these glasses now to where I have to keep them on. What about you selling tickets?
Oh, no, I couldn't see nothing on 'em. I can't see nothing with mine on or without 'em, either one.
You know, Abner, I hate to say this, for he appeared to be such a nice feller, but that blame if I don't believe that spectacle salesman give us a very good fit in them glasses we bought off of him.
Well, I never like to say nothing either, Lum, but I'm beginning to have my suspicions about him myself. He said that my eyes get used to 'em, but I told you I believe they're getting worse.
Yeah, I bound you these specs had something to do with these headaches we've been having.
Well, I tried to see him in there Friday, but he ain't with the circus no more.
Why, he is, done it. I seen him talk with him.
No, that ain't the same feller, Lum. They look alike, but I jumped on him about these spectacles of mine not fitting, and he said that he never had saw me before.
Yeah, he tried to tell me that, too, but I... Wait a minute, that's the store's ring. Somebody wanting some groceries, I reckon.
Yeah.
Hello? This is a Jot-'em-Down store. Lum Edder's talking. Mom? Oh, all right, I'll hold it. Belleville calling. Must be Squire making a report.
Yeah, must be. I hope they ain't had no more storms over there.
Hello? This is him.
Throw that tent down.
Yeah, I allowed it was you, Squire. Yeah, how was business today? Huh? What's the reason you never? $200?
Well, that's a pretty good business, yeah.
Well, Abner's here now. We'll try to raise it some way or other. I'll call you back after a while. All right. Goodbye. Squire says there's a city license there at Belleville, and it'll cost us $200 cash before we can open the circus up.
Oh, my goodness alive.
We just wonder how long Lum is going to be able to make enough money out of the Jot-'em-Down store to keep that circus running. Here we are, all ready to take you down to Pine Ridge for another visit with Lum and Abner. Brought to you by the makers of Horlicks, the original malted milk. Before we go down to Pine Ridge, I'm going to take a minute to read a specially interesting letter that we received last Thursday. It's from Mr. J.S.S. of Terre Haute. Here's what he writes. I've been listening to Lum and Abner ever since they started on the radio. I think they're swell. But frankly, I didn't believe what the announcer said about Horlicks malted milk. Then one night I heard him say that a glass of Horlicks hot, just before going to bed, helps one sleep more soundly. I hadn't been sleeping so well myself, so I thought I'd give your product a trial. Boy, did it work. The very first night I tried it, I slept like a top. I drink it every night now, just before going to bed, and I sure sleep soundly. Feel fine and refreshed in the morning, too. It's me for Horlicks now, every time. Well, thank you, Mr. J.S.S. We're as glad as you are that you decided to give Horlicks malted milk a trial. It certainly is a fine aid to sounder, more refreshing sleep. We hope that some of Lum and Abner's other friends will try it, too. It's a good idea to always keep a package on hand. It has so many other uses, too. You can get Horlicks at your druggist's in either natural or chocolate flavor. And now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. Following the unsuccessful engagement at the county seat, Lum and Abner used their last few dollars to move the circus to Belleville, only to learn after they had the tent all set up that there was a $200 city license that must be paid before they can open the show. Lum and Cedric made a hurried trip to Belleville this morning to straighten the matter out. And as we look in on Pine Ridge today, we find Grandpappy Spears down at the Jot-'em-Down store, where Lum is just entering upon returning from his trip. Listen.
Well, come in, Lum. Come in. When'd you get back?
I just got in, Grandpap. Just got in.
I've been looking for you ever since noon.
Yeah, it's taking us a heap longer to get over there and back now. I allowed it would. I already got somebody to drive us over there that could see.
I thought Cedric was aiming on driving for you.
Well, he did, but he can't see no better than I can. Them spectacles he's got makes things look so far off he can't tell when to turn a curve or nothing like that.
That's right. That would be a nuisance, trying to drive with them new glasses on.
Well, mine is mighty nigh as bad. These of mine magnify so bad I start turning the curve before we even get to 'em.
That's a wonder you never had an accident.
Well, that's the reason it's taken so long. Just had to poke along in low gearness, see a curve ahead of us, and I'd ask Cedric how far off it looked to him, and I knowed how far it looked to me, of course, so I just sort of divided the difference and started turning. And, of course, we missed it a time or two, just turned right off in the road, but never turned over or nothing like that. Going so slow, just sort of eased down off in the road, you know.
Well, I do know. Why'd you take them glasses off?
Why, we've got to where now we can't see nothing without 'em on.
Yes, sir. You and Abner and Cedric has just about ruined your eyes wearing them spectacles. I don't think any one of you needed them in the first place.
Whereabouts is Abner? Has he been over here today?
No, I ain't saw him. He ain't been around. Might be over about to play somewhere.
Well, I'll call over and see. We've got to do something about that circus.
Did you get it fixed up to where they can open up now?
No, they won't let us sell a ticket till we put up $200 for a city license. Wait a minute. Hello? Peabody Place? Oh, Elizabeth? Is Abner there? Well, wake him up, please, Mom, and tell him I want to talk to him. All right. You can tell he's worried to death over this. She said he was sitting out on the front gallery asleep.
Yeah, I don't believe Abner's feeling well. He's had a headache for a week now.
Well, he ain't the only one. Me and Cedric's both got 'em too, but we've got to get that circus opened up some way or other, headaches or not. Wait a minute. Hello? Yeah, this is Lum. Yeah, just got back. No, that's what I'm calling about. I talked to everybody in Belleville that's got any say-so at all, and they said before we sold every ticket over there, we had to put up $200 for city license. Why, no, I never paid it. Where do you think I'd get $200? Huh? Oh, well, quit trying to guess. I said I never got it. No, that's what I'm trying to tell you. They can't open up. Or to do what? Well, where are we going to get the money to move with? It cost us $50 to get it moved over there, and it'll cost us another $50 to move it somewhere else, and we just ain't got the money. Well, it just looks like there ain't but one thing to do, and that's to raise the $200 someplace and leave it there this week. I don't know where. That's what I called you for, though. Maybe you might have thought up some ideas. Yeah, I bet you have. Sitting out there on the front gallery asleep. Well, I don't know what to do. Granny, it just looks like it never rains but what it pours. I said it never rains but what it pours. Why, no, the weather over there was fine. It wasn't raining, though. Oh, I never done no such a thing. I just says it never rains but what it pours. I meant... Well, I weren't talking about Belleville, Abner. I never meant it was raining over there. No, it ain't raining no place as far as I know. Well, I just said it 'cause... No, it's just an old expression, an old Eddard saying. When a lot of things happen this way, you always say it never rains but what it pours. Well, all right, I say it then. Huh? If what? No, if it was just drizzling, you wouldn't say it's pouring. Of course not. Oh, but I ain't sure enough talking about sure enough rain, Abner. No, not snow or sleet or nothing. Well, just forget about the rain. Well, what I want to know, how are we going to raise that $200? Well, get yourself over here and let's figure it out some way. Yeah, I'm over at the store. Well, why can't you? Well, it ain't raining, no, Abner. I told you it weren't raining. I never know such a thing. Well, all right. All right, but get yourself over here if you have to swim. Crazy idiot, get something on his mind. It's worth about his life to straighten him out. Said he couldn't come over here. Didn't want to get out in the rain.
Well, it ain't raining, Mom.
Now, don't you start that, Grandpap. I've got enough troubles on my mind without arguing with you. I've got to get a hold of that banker in there at the county seat if I can. See if I can't make a boy. Let's see.
It ain't none of my business, Lum, but if I was you, I'd think it over careful before I borrowed any money to invest in that circus.
Well, I ain't borrowing it 'cause I want to. Wait a minute. Hello? Is this Central? I want the Union Bank in there, please, Mom. Huh? Well, that's what I mean. I want to speak to him. Yes, Mom.
No, sir, Lum, I sure wouldn't do it.
Well, Grandpap, we can't just leave the circus sitting over at Belleville paying them performers and feeding them animals unless we're taking in some money. Never take me long to figure that out. Even a goose can see that. Wait a minute. Hello? Is this Mr. Duke talking? This is Lum Edwards out here at Pine Ridge. Yes, sir. Oh, tolerably well, thank you. Why, I just wondered if I could make a borry in there at your bank. A borry? Yeah, well, I'm needing about $200. Well, yeah, well, I've got my store here, for one thing. I can put that up, I reckon. Oh, about $700 or $800 worth of stock, I'd say, just offhand. Yeah. Well, now, that would be fine. I sure would appreciate it. I'm in a sort of a tight. Yeah. Yeah. It looks like everything happens at once. Never rains, but or nothing. I'll be in there just as quick as I can get there then. All right, and I'm sure much obliged to you, Mr. Duke. I'll never forget you for this. All right, sir. All right. Goodbye. Now, Granny, there's a friend in need.
Well, if you want my notions on it, Lum, he'd have did you a big favor if he'd have just turned you down, told you nothing doing.
Now, let's see. I've got to call Squire Scamp over at Belleville and let him know I've made arrangements for the money. Let's see. Got to find some way to get to the county seat this afternoon, too. Somebody drive me in there. Might get Dick Huddleston. Got to get to the bank before it closes. Hello? Central? I want to talk to Belleville, please, Mom. Yes, Mom. Well, I want to talk to Squire Scamp over there. He's with the Edwards and Peabody Circus. Well, I expect you'll find him around the county clerk's office there at the city hall or the courthouse or somewhere. Yes, Mom. All right, I'll hold it. Might have time to put on an afternoon performance just this afternoon.
Well, sir, I wouldn't go through with all that worry and trouble for all the money there are in Belleville. I'd be just like Abner. I'd just sleep through it.
Yes, Mom. All right, all right. Hello, Squire. Yeah, this is Lum. Yeah, I've got some good news. I made arrangements for the $200 in at the Union Bank at the county seat. Yeah, I just now talked to him. Well, just draw a draft on my account in there at the bank and sign your name, my name by you, and by the time the check gets in there, I'll have the money in the bank. Yeah, I'm going right in there this afternoon. Yeah. Well, now, that's what I was thinking. All right, Squire. All right, I hope you do a big business. All right. Goodbye.
Now, here comes Abner out front there, Lum.
Well, for the land's sake.
Reckon what he's got an outfit like that on for?
Well, he can't see with them spectacles on. Can't tell what the weather's like. He still thinks it's raining. Abner, what in the world are you doing with an umbrella and a raincoat and rubber boots on a day like this? All sworn to.
Well, never rains but what it pours. Here we are, all ready to take you down to Pine Ridge. for another visit with Lum and Abner. Brought to you by the makers of Horlicks, the original malted milk. Before we go down to Pine Ridge, let me make a suggestion. When your youngsters ask for something to eat between meals, give them Horlicks malted milk tablets. As a test in Chicago schools recently showed, they are just the thing for hungry youngsters. Like Horlicks in powder form, they're wholesome and nourishing, yet very easy to digest. That's why they ward off hunger without spoiling appetites for regular meals. The test also showed that the children who ate them in mid-morning were better behaved and more alert than those who didn't. They liked them, too, better than candy, they said. So get a package of Horlicks tablets for these youngsters of yours. It'll solve your problem and do them a lot of good. A convenient flask costs only 10 cents, and they come in larger sizes, too. Your druggist keeps them in both natural and chocolate flavor. And now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. Well, Lum managed to raise the $200 yesterday to pay the city license, which was necessary before they could open their circus in Belleville. The show opened last night and will remain in Belleville the balance of the week. As we look in on Pine Ridge today, we find Grandpappy Spears down at the Jot 'em Down store. Dick Huddleston, who has been out of town for the past few days, has returned home and is over at the store looking for his old friends. Listen.
Oh, I don't know where they're at, Richard. You see, Abner ain't in the store no more, and Lum don't spend no time over here. That circus business takes up mighty nigh all his time.
Well, they're not traveling with the circus, are they?
No, but it keeps them busy trying to keep it opened up and all. Looks like they ain't had nothing but bad luck ever since they started it.
Well, I didn't think that circus idea was going to work out very well in the first place, Grandpap. They don't know nothing about the circus business.
Why, if they was to make any money out of it, they never would get none of it, with Squire Skimp in there managing things for them.
You mean to say if they've turned the whole thing over to Squire Skimp?
Why, sure, he's got full charge now.
Yeah, well, sir, I was afraid of that when I heard that they'd hired Squire to work for him.
And I tried to tell them, but they wouldn't listen to me. Lum thinks he knows it all, and Abner ain't got no more sense than to do what Lum tells him to.
Yeah, well, I just got back in town yesterday, but I heard they'd been doing pretty well with it.
Oh, they think they are. Yeah, they're telling it around that they're making money hand over fist, but that's just because they don't know no better.
Mm-hmm.
Lum mortgaged his store here yesterday. Borrowed $200 in there at the bank. I know in reason he'll lose that, too.
Borrowed $200 to put in the circus?
Yeah. I told him it was a mistake, but he wouldn't listen to me. He's bound and determined.
Well, what's he needing $200 for?
Why, they spent every nickel they had getting the circus moved to Belleville, and got over there and found out they had to pay $200 city license before they could open up for business.
For goodness sake.
Some more Squire Skimp's management for you. You ought to found that out before he moved in there.
Why, sure he has. Yeah, they can't operate a circus, and it's traveling around over the country, and them staying here in Pine Ridge.
I know.
They've got to be right there with it all the time.
Well, if you want my notions on it, Richard, they can't operate one whether they're there or whether they ain't. They don't know nothing about the circus business.
Why, no. They just haven't got the capital in the first place, Grandpap.
Got the what?
The capital. It takes money to run one of them things. Some weeks, why, they'll make money. And then there's going to be others when they lose it.
Yeah.
They've got to have some cash to fall back on.
Sure, and they ain't got it.
Why, no.
They say some weeks they'll make money, and then some weeks they'll lose it. Well, they done it right square backwards. Some weeks they lose it, but they ain't made none yet.
Well, they'll get in a good spot and probably make a little money, but they've got to have some cash reserve there to carry them over those weeks that they don't. That's what they've got to have.
Lum ain't even paid me my salary yet for 2 weeks of work here in the store.
Well, I wouldn't worry about that. Lum will pay you, Grandpa.
No, I never meant that. I'm just telling you how hard up they are.
Yeah. Well, if they'd have stayed with their store business here, well, they'd been a lot better off.
Of course they would. Of course they would. It's the only place they ever made any money is right here in this store.
Yeah.
Lum keeps both of them broke with these big ideas he gets in his head. He's always got some big scheme studied up to where they're going to get rich quick. He'd bankrupt the government in 2 weeks' time if they'd turn him loose.
Well, of course, they kind of got in the circus business, by accident. They owed Abner that debt here at the store, and he had to take the circus over to protect himself. And they got it cheap, too, dirt cheap.
I don't know, Dick. I don't believe a circus is cheap at any price. I know if somebody... Now, wait a minute. I believe that's Lum and Abner coming over here now. Yeah, coming down the road yonder. Just look, poking along there like they had all day.
Well, what's the matter with Abner there? Looks like Lum's leading him by the hand.
Well, he is, I reckon. Somebody's got to lead him.
Somebody's got to lead him.
Why, sure, he can't see nothing.
You mean he's having trouble with his eyes?
Trouble? He's blind as a bat, and Lum's my eyes bad. Look there, the way he's walking.
Yeah, I just noticing that. He is walking funny. The way he picks up his feet there.
Yeah, walks like he's string haltered, don't he? Yeah, it's my nigh case of the blind leading the blind, except Lum can see a little. Them eyeglasses of his makes everything look about 10 times as big as it is.
By Jack, Lum has got glasses on there. When did he start wearing them, Grandpa?
Oh, that's right. I reckon they bought them after you left. Why, some spectacle salesman come in here with the circus and sold Lum and Abner and Cedric all spectacles, and they just might not ruined their eyes with them. Fact is, he sold might not everybody in town a pair of them.
Yeah, well, I heard something about that this morning. Ezra Seastrunk come in the store over there and wanted to buy a whole case of headache medicine. Said his whole family had headaches for over a week now.
Yeah.
Come to find out that he'd bought new glasses from somebody for the whole family, children and all.
Yeah, that was the same fella. Ezra just lined the whole family up and told the fella to fit 'em all out in spectacles. Even that 2-month-old baby, little Herman, put a pair of nose glasses on him.
Well, that's ridiculous. I told Ezra so, too. That's something you got to be awful careful about. You're liable to ruin your children's eyes.
Why, he ought to been running plumb out of town. Just look there coming in now. That ain't awful now.
Yeah, that's
Lum
right.
started trying to climb them steps 20 feet before he got to them.
Why, that's downright pitiful. Look at him.
Yes, sir. Now, there comes the owners of the Edwards and Peabody Circus. Ain't that a sight?
Well, hello there, fellas.
Well, howdy.
Who is it?
Hey, it's Dick and Grandpap.
Well, howdy, Dick. Glad to see you. I can't see you, but I'm glad you're back anyway.
Yeah, when'd you get in, Dick?
I got in late yesterday evening, Lum.
Have a nice trip?
Well, it wasn't much of a trip. Didn't see many of the sights. I was busy buying most of the time. Went in there to market, you know.
Yeah. Granny's you're looking fine. Growed some, ain't you?
Gold? No, I reckon not, though.
You look half again as big to me. Well, I reckon it's these spectacles, though.
Yeah, me and Lum's got some new spectacles since you've been gone, Dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grandpap was just telling me about that.
Yeah, it's a good thing we got 'em when we did, too. Our eyes just went bad all of a sudden, looks like.
Yeah, mine just failed me something wonderful for the last week.
Well, where did you fellas ever get the idea that you needed glasses in the first place?
Why, that spectacle salesman told us we did.
Yeah, our eyes was in such bad shape, he could tell by just looking at us that we needed them.
Now, let me see those glasses of yours there, Lum.
Yeah, I can take them off for a minute. I don't want to be without them long, though. Might strain my eyes.
Yeah, we've got to be awful careful with our eyes. Yeah, let him see them of yours, too, Abner. Oh, yeah. Here, look at these, Dick. Wherever you're at, I can't tell.
Yes, I see.
Oh, yeah, here.
Now, wait a minute. Let me see these. For goodness sake, Lum, how long have you been wearing these things?
Why, ever since the feller sold them to me.
Well, it's a wonder you're not blind.
Here, Don.
Why, these things would ruin anybody's eyes.
Oh.
Look at your eyes there, how red they are.
Man, look at Abner's. His is worse than Lum's.
And you fellas will have to have your eyes examined now, sure enough.
Well, you see, our eyes ain't got set to these glasses yet, though.
No, and they never will, neither. Abner, I can't see a thing through these of yours. Everything just runs together like a blur. I can't see nothing.
Well, sir, I can't neither. You must be needing some glasses, too, Dick.
Yeah, that feller's with the circus over there at Belleville this week. If you want to, you can go over with us next time we run over and get you a pair of them, Dick.
Yeah, well, if I was needing glasses, I'd go to somebody that knows what they're doing to get my eyes fitted. Go to an eye specialist.
Well, that's what this feller is. That's all he does is sell spectacles. Got a whole case full of them.
Yeah, and a fella like that ought to be put in a penitentiary, too.
Huh?
He's committing a crime every time he sells a pair of them. Why, he don't care whether you fit your eyes or not. All he's after is $3 or whatever he charges for the glasses. I know. I've seen them before. I've run them out of my store down there time and again. A man like that's usually a pretty smooth talker. Why, he can cause more damage and suffering in a war, ruin more eyes. Yeah, I'll go to Belleville with you to see him, but if I do, he won't be selling glasses again soon, I'll tell you that. If a first person feels like he needs glasses, why, he ought to have his eyes examined by somebody that knows what they're doing, an eye specialist, somebody that's in that business.
Now, Granny, do you reckon these glasses has had anything to do with these headaches we've been having?
Why, sure they have, Lum. Why, the wife told me that she'd sold more headache medicine there in the store this past week than we've sold in 2 years. And his eyes that's been damaged by that fake, it never will be right again.
Yes, sir, Dick's just right about that. If you're through with them, Dick, I believe I better put them back on. My eyes are starting to burn here.
Yeah, wait a minute.
See, I've got both pair of them here.
Yeah.
Now, you may not like it, but I'm going to do you both a big favor right now.
Why, Dick, you busting them here.
Yeah, and someday you'll thank me for it, too, Lum. Now, the thing for you to do is go there to the telephone and call Squire Kemp, tell him to either run that fellow off that circus ground or have him put in jail as a fake. That's what you ought to do.
Well, Dick may not be an eye specialist, but we rather think he has the best cure for Lum and Abner's eye trouble. This is Carlton Brickert, speaking for Lum and Abner and Horlicks, who now bid you all good night and good health.